Good afternoon. Welcome to day 5 of the COVID-19 series. It's going to be the dynamic stretch warm-up. So we're just going to get right into it today. We're going to start out on the ground. We will need at some point something comfortable to, for instance, right now we're going to get on our back, so lie on the ground or on your yoga mat. We'll also need something, potentially you're going to need something that you can counterbalance off of. For example, a counter table would do just fine. For when we are working on our squat, just something where I can give myself just a little bit of help if I was to need it. So we get down on the ground here. We're just going to start with a series of pelvic tilts. Just lying here flat on the ground, feet flat on the ground. We're going to go 30 seconds a piece. So I'm going to press my lower back into posterior tilt, and I'm going to create this arch here and get some anterior tilt. I'm just going to work myself back and forth. Make sure that on that posterior tilt I engage those abs, and then anterior, and just work myself back and forth. So hitting each position, hold it for a couple seconds, and then move into the other position. Nice, and just take your time with it, feel it. Feel those end ranges of motion. How far can you get with pressing your back into the ground and then creating that arch. All right, now we're going to come up 90-90 position, so 90 degrees, 90 degrees, and we're going to continue. So we have to have a little bit more control. We don't have our feet pressing into the ground, so it's going to be a little bit more challenging. At the same time, we want to really isolate just the pelvis moving. All right, we want to keep the legs as straight and as still as we possibly can. As straight and still as we possibly can. Okay. From here, we're gonna go ahead and flip onto our stomach. It's gonna look a little different. We're gonna do these leg curls essentially. We're gonna go for a minute. So I'll curl my leg in like so, and then from here, then I'm gonna lift my leg, and then down, and then I'll curl and lift. So we're going to go for a minute, we're going to alternate. So as I curl in here, I want to pull through that hamstring nice and hard, and then lift and get a little extra stretch in that quad. So lift that leg, curl, stretch that quad. Just take your time with these, nice and easy. Hold that good strong contraction, lift. Bring that heel as close to your butt as you can. Lift that leg up. Strong contraction. So as you lift, you're going to get that glute to contract as well. Squeeze that hamstring, stretch that quad, squeeze that glute. Another 15 seconds. 10 more seconds. Let's do one more on each leg. All right. Okay. This next one we're going to do something for the shoulders. So again, lying down here in this prone position, we're going to start out. We're going to lift our arms up into extension. We're going to start with those pinkies up. We're going to hold that position. Then from there, I'm going to turn my hands out like so. So my thumbs are rotating up and my palms are rotating out. We're going to lift as high as possible, and we're just going to move through the hours on the clock, and we're going to pause in each position for about 5 seconds, hit 12 o'clock, and then we're going to reverse and we're going to come back down. All right? So I want you to relax your head and chin into the floor when you do this. All right, so here we're going to lift those pinkies up and hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to rotate those hands out, so thumbs are up, palms are up. We're going to move just a little bit to about 7 and 5. We're going to lift those hands as high as we can, lift nice and strong. Pull up, 8 and 4. You're going to continue to externally rotate, so trying to get those palms up as much as possible. 9 and 3. Continue to lift really strong through the shoulder blades. Pull those shoulders away from the ears. Go up to 10 and 2. Strong external rotation. Strong external rotation. Continue to lift as high as you can. 11 and 1. Lift those arms nice and high. Pull through the shoulder blades. 12 o'clock. Continue to pull nice and hard. Now from here, we're gonna turn those thumbs down, palms out, and we're gonna come back to 11 and 1. Continue to lift really hard. 10 and 2. Continue to lift. So now pinkies are up in the air. We're lifting as high as we can. 9 and 3. Lifting as high as we can and pulling away. Don't shrug. Pull away from the shoulders. Continue to lift nice and high. 8 and 4. Lift as high as we can. You're at 7 and 5. Pull those shoulders away from the ears. Lift those arms. And 6 o'clock. Lift nice and high. And relax. Cool. All right. So we're going to stay in this position, and we're going to do these prone snow angels. So starting position is going to be like what we just did. We're going to do this 5 repetitions. So again, I'll lift here. I'm going to rotate out. And then from here, I'm simply just going to bend my elbows, bring my hands into my side, keep those hands up nice and high, and then we're going to press to the overhead position. When it keeps thumbs up when we do so. Press to the overhead position, and then down. All right, we're gonna do it 5 times. All right, so here we go. Lift those arms up nice and high. Pinkies are up to start. Now I'm going to rotate those thumbs up and those palms out. I'm gonna bend at the elbow, pull those hands in, retract at the shoulder blades, press to the overhead position, continue to pull away from the ground, come back, reverse that direction, extend those arms, lift nice and high, bend those elbows, pull those hands in, keep those hands up, press to the overhead position, pull those arms back in, extend those arms, lift, bend the elbows, lift again, press, pull them back down, pull, up, extend those arms. Here we go, number 4, bend those elbows, pull up through those shoulder blades, press, lift, reverse back down, extend those arms, lift, one more time, bend those elbows, pull down and back through those shoulder blades, lift and press, reverse, come back down, lift away from the ground, and extend those arms. Nicely done. All right. So what is next? Where are we going? I'm not sure where we are. Prone snow images, we did that. Okay. So we're gonna go half kneeling bottle rocks. 30 seconds on the side, and then regular bottle rock. So if I set up here on my left leg, I'm gonna extend my right out to the side here. Actually, let me start on my right leg here with my left leg out to the side. So my left leg is just extended all the way away from me. Make sure I'm pushing this heel out. I'm gonna set up with my hands out here in front of me. I wanna really important, I wanna make sure that belly stays tight and maintain a neutral spine. So from here, we're just gonna sit back into this position. We're gonna hold for 30 seconds. So we establish that position, hold in, should feel a stretch on the inner part of the thighs. Again, really wanna focus on maintaining this neutral spine. Every few seconds, we're gonna sit back just a little bit deeper, see if we can get a little bit more out of that stretch. Hold in that position. See if we can sit back just a little bit deeper, really try and maintain that neutral spine. You have to think about getting a little bit more anterior tilt, right? We don't want to have this rounded back position. We want to have this anterior tilt. We're gonna hold this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax, okay? So now we're gonna switch to the other side. So extend my right leg out towards you. Here with this left heel, I wanna continue to think about pushing that heel out. Set up my hands in front of me, belly tight, neutral spine, and go ahead and sink your butt back. Good, feeling a nice deep stretch here through those adductors. Sit that butt back. Every 2-3 breaths or so, see if we can get just a touch deeper. Ooh, that feels nice. Another 15 seconds, just sitting back into it, continue to breathe into it, see if we can get just a little bit deeper. 5 more seconds. And relax. Okay, so now we're gonna do a double. So with that one, to the side here, it comes straight ahead at you. Gonna go a little bit wider with my knees. Gonna go wide with my knees. But again, I gotta make sure that this heel is out. I don't want to let the heel collapse. Make sure you push that heel out on both sides. All right, get those hands out in front of you. And maintain that neutral spine. And go ahead and sit down into that. Good, maintain that neutral position as we rock back. So not quite child's pose. With child's pose, I would just try and get myself down all the way to the ground and not really worry about what my lower back is doing. But here I really want to focus on what my lower back's doing. Really want to maintain that neutral position and keeping those abs tight as I rock back into position and hold another 5 seconds. Keep pushing those heels out. Don't let those heels collapse in. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good. All right. Where are we at? Planks. Okay, so we're gonna hold straight plank for 20 seconds, and then we're gonna go left to right, and then we're gonna go forward and backwards. Now, if we can't move forward and backwards, I just want you to instead of walking left and right, what I'll just have you do is just gonna shift left and right, and instead of walking forward and backward, just gonna shift forward and backward through your feet. So that's if you're not able to do the actual, sliding back and forth. All right. So 20 seconds apiece. Ready? Just a straight plank to begin with, and begin. And so just holding that strong plank position, making sure we're pushing away from the ground and drawing those shoulders away from the ears. Belly nice and tight, neutral spine. Continue to hold position. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and we're gonna go left to right. So just take about 3 steps one direction, 3 steps the other direction. 3 steps to my right, 3 steps to my left. 3, 2, 1. Now we're gonna go front to back. So this is gonna be a much shorter step. But again, we'll go about 3 or 4 forward and about 3 or 4 back. 2, 1, and relax. Good. Okay. Now we're going to get into Spider-Man and rotating Spider-Mans. We're going to do 3 on each side. So I'll start here. Start my left leg out front. If you can't do these on the ground, these can be done off of a chair. So I want to make sure that this trail leg is nice and straight. I'm going to have both hands to the right of my left foot. We're going to do 3 of these. We're going to drop ourselves down and hold that position, really sitting into that hip as strong as we can. Push those arms straight. Big rotation with that left arm going up to the ceiling, really pulling through those shoulder blades, getting as much torso rotation. Left hand goes down. Big rotation. Right hand's coming up. Big rotation through that midsection. Right hand's coming down. Drop that whole body down to the ground. Good, really get into that hip, that front hip. Push those arms straight. Left arm, big rotation, pull through those shoulder blades. Big rotation to that torso. Left hand comes down. Right hand, again, really just think about opening up this chest, really twisting through that torso as much as we can. And we're gonna do one more here. We're gonna drop down. Get that rear leg as straight as we can. Take that inside hand, rotate up, big rotation. And good, left hand down, right hand up, big rotation up. Good, and we're gonna switch. Okay, now I got the right foot forward, hands to the left side of my right foot. Gonna drop down, this time we're working on that right hip. Take that right hand, big rotation up to the ceiling, up to the sky. Right hand is down, left hand, big rotation up. Both hands on the ground. I'm gonna drop down into position here. Big rotation up towards the ceiling. Right hand down, left hand up. Big rotation, pull those shoulder blades together. Don't allow those shoulders to round forward. And we're gonna do one more time. I'm gonna drop down to position here. Take that hand, big rotation, try and keep that, in this case, that left leg nice and straight. Pull through those shoulder blades, and down, big rotation, and relax. Okay, for this next one, gonna need something comfortable to be on. Very similar, we're just gonna have our knee on the ground. So with this one, I'm gonna have, in this case, my right leg, I'm gonna drive my right leg back as far as I possibly can go. Get that back nice and far. So from here, I'm just gonna keep thinking about pushing my hips down to the ground as much as possible, and then rotating one arm up to the ceiling and then or the sky, and then the other. We're gonna do 3 on each side. So continue to push my hips down to the ground, continue to lift my chest, and a big rotation up to the ceiling, up to the sky, and switch. Hips down, chest up, big rotation, and switch. Hips down, chest up, big rotation, and down. This foot, make sure that whole foot maintains contact. Don't roll to the outside of your foot. One more time. Hips down, chest up, big rotation. And one more. Good, and relax, okay? Okay, driving that left leg back as far as it'll go. From here, big rotation up, push those hips down, lift that chest. That's one. Big rotation. Hips down, chest up, big rotation. One more time here. Nicely done. Okay. So we're going to do an RDL to a squat sit. This can be done just out in the open, or if we need something to kind of support ourselves on that squat. So ideally, the way we do it is we establish this hinge position here. We get that nice stretch in the hamstrings, neutral spine, nice flat back. Pull those shoulders down and back, and then I'll just drop down into a deep squat here, and I'm going to drive my leg straight and my hips up, and then repeat. If you can't get, however deep you can get in your squat, it's as deep as you want to go. Don't worry about trying to get as deep as me. We just want to make sure we maintain position. So the way that you can get that stretch, and then when I drop down into position, maybe I just hang on to, in this case, the corner of the house, but a counter, a table, whatever the case might be. Just hang on to something if you need that little counterbalance. All right? So we'll do it 5 times. All right. So we're gonna get into that hinge position here, and then here I'm gonna drop down into my nice deep squat here. Lift my chest. Gonna drive my butt back up into the air. Get that stretch to my hamstrings. Pull my shoulders down and back. I'm gonna drop down. Think about pulling my shoulders down, lifting my chest. Go up. Number 4. So thinking about all the time, those feet stay nice and flat, driving those big toes into the ground so I can activate those arches, driving those knees out by activating those glutes, and as best I can trying to maintain a nice deep position with that neutral lower spine. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to go hands down on the ground, and we're going to walk back to a plank position, and then we're going to walk forward back into that squat sit. Hands on the ground. Try to remember to alternate your feet as far as when you walk forward and walk back. Just getting really comfortable sitting down in the bottom of the position. And one more. Good. All right. So next thing, the final thing that we're going to do, so we're going to do this combination lateral lunges. We're going to walk out and either do shoulder taps or push-ups. So I'll have my feet wide here. I'll have my hands on the ground, and I'm gonna lateral lunge to the right, lateral lunge to the left. I'll walk out and either do 5 push-ups or shoulder taps. Total of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 10. So the first time we do the lunges, we're gonna go through 3 times. The first time we're gonna have the hands on the ground, then we'll do another 3 where we're upright. All right, so from here, I'm just gonna lunge to the right, lunge to the left, walk the hands out, and then do 5 push-ups. Walk the hands back. You get that deep stretch and that work on that range of motion in that lateral lunge position. Again, either 10 shoulder taps or 5 push-ups. Okay, now, final thing that we're gonna do here, we're gonna do that same lateral lunge, but we're gonna have our torso upright. All right, so our hands are gonna be out as a counterbalance. So here I'll sit down to my right, push up and over, sit down to my left, walk it out. Again, 5 push-ups or 10 shoulder taps. Walk it back. Now as I lunge here, basically want to think about that. I'm mimicking my squat on one leg, right? So if I'm squatting here and I just extend my leg out, I'm now in my lateral lunge position, all right? Squat position, lateral lunge position. And then I can move from one side to the other. One more time. Hands out in front of me. So I'm sitting my butt back, sitting into this hip crease. Knee and toe are lined up with one another. So I gotta play with it, in and out a little bit with the feet. You know, figure out what's gonna work for what's the most comfortable. Excellent, good. Cool, all right, so full body dynamic stretch warm up. Be back at you in a little bit with the workout. So, see.